Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRuta.com. Amazing day in silver again. New data just got released. It's funny because I tried to go to the website and everything was down. The Cloudflare outage sparks global internet chaos. Everybody's internet's down or not working properly. It's all screwed up. This is not by accident. What is today? Oh, they're going to Congress to vote on releasing the Epstein information. It doesn't matter what you're invested in. That's 100% all that matters right now. 100%. Why? Because the reality of releasing the Epstein information is the reality of exposing the entire world to our controllers, to the people who have controlled our lives and who we've become debt slaves to. I'll get to there in a second, but this is such a big day for silver, and they had to slam it obviously on a day like this because let me tell you, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to go right to it. Gold, silver imports surged sharply in October. Now remember, we were told that October they ran out in the beginning of the month, right? They ran out of silver and gold and mainly silver at the LBMA. Oh, the inventories are so low. That was September and October. And they said, oh, thank God we got 50 million ounces back in the warehouse in the LBMA. 50 million. Think about that number. Gold, silver imports surged sharply in October, pushing up India's trade deficit. How big? Right here. Here's the number. It took me forever to get it. $2.7 billion of silver imports, up 529% for October. And don't forget what October looked like. Remember, I've been screaming for a decade that India imports silver only on price slams below the moving averages. 3 months ago, I'm like, it's going to change. India is going to start buying. When India starts buying above the moving averages, that's when the game is over. This would be the second week they bought above the moving averages. As you can tell, it hasn't dropped below the moving average since April-May timeframe. These are the 100-day and 200-day moving averages. That's how the criminal cabal play their games. They slam it under and they cover their shorts. Nobody's falling for their games anymore. India's starting to panic. Is it a panic or is it a direct attack on the silver riggers, on the complete infrastructure of the rigging operations? China's doing the same thing. China has not stopped building their solar. We could hit 800 to 900 gigawatts DC installed this year. And it is not stopping, my friends. It is not stopping. Silver will be in the thousands of dollars. What are you going to do when silver's in the thousands of dollars? First of all, the COMEX cannot be open when silver's in the thousands of dollars. The LBMA cannot be open. Those are the futures and options rigging operations. They're going to shut down. Force majeure, a war, whatever it might be. Back to this. I've been saying they're gonna mess with the internet when this all falls apart. When the electronic monetary system fails because the derivative bubble was punctured, $3 quadrillion in derivatives went bad because now we're down to pretty much two choices. Either because silver took out the shorts, JPMorgan being the number one short, and long, JPMorgan, but they play in the derivative market. JPMorgan is the derivative market. JPMorgan is also knee-deep in Epstein. So when we talk about whether or not the Congress is going to be fully transparent, we need to go directly to the heart of the financing of the pedophilia ring and all that stuff, the controllers of our system. JPMorgan Chase is so knee-deep in this. And it's not just the one guy, Jess Stanley, and it's not just the board members that were in business with Epstein. Over a dozen, close to 20 to 30 individuals at JPMorgan senior management would go over to, they didn't all go, about 14 of them went over to Epstein's house. How many bankers go to your house? And we all know what went on at Epstein's house. It is so big. Go to Wall Street on Parade if you're looking for kind of a Bix. I need to find out more information. Go to Wall Street on Parade, type in Epstein in the search function. These guys, and all their research is backed up with court cases, filings, everything. Everything's backed up on this website. So I went to Grok and I said, hey, Grok, let's talk about the Epstein and JPMorgan connections as based on Wall Street on Parade. And this is verification of claimed connections to Epstein via Wall Street on Parade reporting. And they gave me a list of, obviously Jamie Dimon was knee deep in it. He lied under oath, by the way, saying he didn't even know Epstein in 2019. Of course, he was one of the main participants. And that's the stuff that has to come out. Jeff Stanley, we've already heard about. But whatever happened to it? Nothing. JPMorgan sued him, and it's that the lone wolf type of bullshit. They tried to change, just blame one guy. And no, there's a hell of a lot of people involved. Maria Rodas, the CEO of Asset Wealth Management, she still is there. John Duffy, CEO of the private bank, managed and facilitated cash withdrawals without any. He knew everything. Listed him among 14 visitors to Epstein's residences tied to cash handling. We're talking, this is not, this is so much bigger than paying girls off in cash to have sex with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. We're talking massive amounts of people, massive amounts of Hollywood, massive amounts of politicians. I'm sorry, all you Obama fans. I'm sorry. He's one of the dirtiest. Jamie Dimon, they used to call him Jamie Demon. John Duffy, CEO of the private bank. 2004 article lists him among 14 visitors. David Frame, global chief executive of the private bank. 2024 visitor list referenced Project Jeep emails on Epstein portfolio, oversaw high net worth services, internal comms on asset flows. Paul Barrett, managing director of the private bank, handled accounts, processed transactions. These transactions are not like, 100,000 in cash here. These are millions and billions of dollars. Knee deep in the Epstein stuff. Christopher French facilitated dealings, payments to associates. 2024 visitors list. Transaction processing in docs. Jeffrey Matkow, managing director, private bank, managed portfolios, ignored red flags. Some of it is just people ignoring red flags. Now, you don't ignore a red flag if you're a banker. You ignore a red flag, you're complicit. You were told to, doesn't matter. It's been signed off by senior management. And there are board members that were in business with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole crowd. One of the 15 townhouse visitors, Thomas McGraw, handled cash flows, visited properties. Email dealings, Paul Morris, Justin Nelson, Carolyn Rears. Why aren't all these people being discussed by this dude, Mike Johnson? Republicans just gave, they said, we're going to release even more documents than the Democrats released because they got to go to the Democratic side. And we're going to vote on releasing the documents. They're not voting on releasing the documents. They're voting on releasing as much documents as they can without exposing the tens of thousands of people involved with this bullshit. This runs so deep in the pedophilia clans, in the financial system. Back to silver. How big of a deal is it that India imported $2.7 billion worth of silver? That comes out to approximately 57 million ounces. Now, remember, LBMA, what happened? Oh my God, we're short silver. We got to go get it. So they literally took it from the COMEX, a few other places, and put 50 million ounces into the LBMA. Well, India just imported 57 million ounces, all above these moving averages. I know how it all kind of, Bix, why are you jumping from here to there? Because they're all interconnected. We're talking about the end of the fiat monetary system as we know it, either from silver spiking or from JPMorgan derivative bubble. Imagine if the world knew how many people within JPMorgan, how much money we're talking, and how many politicians were involved. You know they're not going to release anything that shows, oh, here's this politician, here's this politician. Except we know half of them are in on it, especially presidents. Is Trump involved? Absolutely. Did he do anything that could get him arrested? I don't know. The emails that are being released by the left, I mean, they're nothing. The biggest one is he sat for a couple of hours with one of the victims, Virginia Dufresne, or whatever her name is. 10-1, he was saying, hey, I'm going to turn in Epstein. He knew her. She worked for him at Mar-a-Lago. Her dad was Trump's favorite maintenance guy at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, this is all so interconnected. That's where Trump is the one who turned in Jeffrey Epstein to the Palm Beach police or whatever that was. All of it needs to get exposed, and it's not going to be exposed by Congress. But, I mean, it's already out there. Go to Wall Street on Parade. They went through all the court cases and got all the depositions and it's just all there for you to see. All right, back to India. Why is India doing this? I mean, last month was massive. And let me get that number for you. Because it wasn't supposed to be anything. In September, I mean, India had pretty much slowed down their purchases, imports of silver. They've been waiting for it to cross over the 100-day and 200-day, and it wasn't doing it. Until they said, screw it, in September, right in here, way above 100-day and 200-day, they imported a shocking 31 to 32 million ounces. And everybody's like, oh my God, where did that come from? They haven't done that ever before. And now we have October, almost double that, up over 500% from the year prior. Why is India just soaking up all this silver? Well, number one, the whole world knows there's not enough silver in London. The whole world knows 50 million ounces went from the COMEX over to London, which means the COMEX doesn't have a lot. What is going on? Well, how about this? Just released yesterday. India's solar power policy 2025. Full details, key highlights, subsidy structure, and benefits and future impact. India is going all in on solar. I've been screaming this. It's all about the solar. It gives them cover to buy as much silver as possible. India has taken a major step towards becoming a global renewable energy leader with the introduction of Solar Power Policy 25, one of the most ambitious green energy roadmaps ever launched by the government. India's long-term goals are clear. Become a global solar manufacturing hub. Right now, 90% of solar is made from China. And now India is literally, there's so much overcapacity in solar. Guys like Jeffrey Christian, the Silver Institute, they hide this stuff. You're not supposed to know this. Reduce fossil fuel dependency. Achieve zero net emissions by 2070. Expand renewable capacity to 500 gigawatts. What is the solar power policy? Boost solar power generation across all Indian states. Provide subsidies. There's your money. People can't afford it? Yeah, they can. Because the government prints money and buys it. Provide subsidies for household and commercial rooftop solar. Support large-scale solar parks. Promote indigenous manufacturing under Made in India. Establish a national grid-level battery storage network. Encourage solar power agriculture. Build green energy corridors. Objectives. Double India's solar capacity by 2030. There's not enough silver in the world for all these things going on, and I've been screaming it. The problem, the biggest problem, and why we are here right now, why the LBMA can't figure out why they ran out of silver, why Jeffrey Christian has his head stuck up his whatever, his toupee, and why they can't, in the Silver Institute, the most fraudulent third party in the history, right along with Metals Focus. Why can't they figure this all out? The price of silver was held too low for too long. It got misallocated into industries where it should not be. No way we should be spending, this year, who knows, over half of what is mined is going into solar this year and just growing every year. They won't tell you that. The Silver Institute still thinks there's only 200 million ounces used in solar. It's ridiculous. I don't know how much there is, but I know it's above 400 million ounces this year, probably 500 million ounces, maybe 600 million ounces. Because we have something we can point to, which is the amount of solar installed on the planet. They keep very good records of that because the green people want to show just how much is going on, how much energy they're putting in, and it's happening. Their problem is that very visible growth in solar power sheds some light on a very invisible market, the silver industry. So you can't have solar doubling every year without the silver involved in making all those panels. It should be more than doubling every year. The amount of silver has been increasing because of the TOPCon. Now, yes, they have new technologies and they're starting to be implemented. But you don't invent something and all of a sudden it goes into mass production. And it has not been. None of these new things that use a lot less silver have been implemented on any of the mass production lines. Will it next year? Probably. But what will the price of silver be? We're still looking at, 50% growth this year in silver? And it happens year after year after year. It got so bad the Silver Institute had to change their historical numbers. It's crazy. It is crazy right now. What's all this for? Get your physical silver in your own possession. That's the only thing you can do. There's no time left. Go to your local coin shop, buy all the physical silver they have. I can tell you to cash out your 401ks and your life savings and buy as much physical silver, and it's not recommended. Don't do what I did. But when you've been in this long enough and you show how much they are using silver and how much is being hidden, that is the key. And that will take down the derivative bubble. You take down the derivative bubble either through the JPMorgan revelations, they have 60 trillion in derivatives, or the silver moonshot takes out HSBC, JPMorgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. There's nothing left. And we have to get to a point where there's nothing left to start fresh. Because right now, the bad guys are winning. They have probably 99% of all the fiat money. How do you fix that? You wipe it all clean and you start fresh. It's the only way to fix it. And it was always the plan, believe it or not. It's what Ruda wrote in the sand. Print money to infinity. All right, moving on. The latest sacrificee is Larry Summers, behavioral economics guy. I've been talking about him forever. Deep state, pedo guy, along with Gates, and the whole crowd is just bad. He's right here there's Epstein and Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's lawyer, funneling hundreds of millions of dollars all over the place, knee deep in it. And he's still on the news. We need the real stuff, Congress, and half of Congress is involved. That's all. But it's all falling apart. Check out my post yesterday. I brought this from the private road over to the public road because it's very important. It goes through why it's so important to expose JPMorgan and the people within JPMorgan as not only facilitators of Epstein's crimes, but also partners in much of that criminality and participants and customers. JPMorgan Chase is the largest bank on the planet, the most criminal bank on the planet. They have 5 felony convictions against them. Why would any bank be still up and running with 5 felony convictions in it? Because they control the legal system as well. And I think absolutely Trump, this whole thing about him saying, don't do it, don't release it, he's faking. The fight with Massey and whatever that woman was, that all of a sudden it's, oh, Trump, they're terrible people. It's all bullshit. It's all part of the game. It's the con. Now we have everybody from AOC to crazy Kamala screaming for, you have to release the Epstein files. You have to release the Epstein files. What they're really saying is you have to release the Epstein files that we want you to release. They're not saying they want any kind of total exposure. Just go to Wall Street on Parade for total exposure in the banking system. You can't release that information on the largest bank in the world, the largest bank derivative holder in the world. It would destroy everything. Why would this be done? This is the endgame, my friends. I was not surprised to wake up and see all the internet going crazy because of outages. It's gonna get a hell of a lot worse, by the way. And you might not. This might be my last broadcast. I don't know. That's how bad it is, though, and it's getting worse. Again, go to Wall Street on Parade, type in Epstein, you'll find everything you need to know. You know, all these names, or just go on to Grok and say, well, here's some of the research I did. Give me a list of all the JPMorgan employees and all the JPMorgan board members that had personal and business connections to Jeffrey Epstein and or his close associates' business dealings according to the website Wall Street on Parade. Unless you steer AI in the direction you want to go, and don't use ChatGPT because that's controlled by the deep state. Use Grok, which is the X chat AI. Include all ties with Jamie Dimon. You have to be very specific on this. You got Jamie Dimon, Jess Stanley, and Mary Rose, all these people. And then I went down to the board member level. James Crown. Who knows James Crown? Joined in 2004 the Bank One merger. Business ties to Epstein through shared investments and networks, alleged to have ignored red flags, killed himself. Board member, Bank One, into the merger to make Jamie Dimon the head guy over at JPMorgan. Leslie Wexner, we've all heard about him. Yeah, he's the guy who owns Victoria's Secret and all that. Knee deep with Epstein, knee deep with the JPMorgan board. He was a board member of JPMorgan. Multiple directors from Bank One had verifiable Epstein partnership. Bank One merged with JPMorgan to create JPMorgan Chase, the big bank. Brought to JPMorgan board with Dimon. So this verifiable Epstein partnership brought to JPMorgan board with Dimon. Specific names, not always detailed, but collectively accused of putting heads in the sand on Epstein accounts. And then you just have to narrow it down and say, give me all the names on this website. That's you can't say, oh, first thing they'll do, they'll look at CNN and Fox and just ridiculous reporting agencies. You got to steer AI where it needs to go. And Wall Street on Parade is a amazing website because they just put out things that are from court cases that are verifiable. So go check that out. You can do it yourself. This isn't rocket science. Okay, so how do we know things have come full circle? The Economist magazine, if you've been with the Road to Ruta long enough, about 10 years now, I stopped doing it, but the Economist magazine used to publish this report called The World In. It was The World in 2017, The World in 2016. The year before they'd publish it, and they put all kinds of secret clues on all this stuff. I wrote 4 articles about it. If you go to roadtoruta.com, I put up a free copy of it. The last time I wrote it was in 2016. And the reason I'm bringing it up, they have a new one. They stopped doing it because they knew we were onto them. The Economist magazine knew that there were way too many coincidences for them to keep doing it, so they didn't, but they're back this year. The world ahead in 2026. I am going to do an article on this. Again, I used to just write articles back in the day. And somebody had recently said, because I sent out an email. We have an email service at Road to Root, by the way. It's free on the left side, public road emails. Put your name and email address. But I wrote something instead of doing all videos. I wrote kind of an article, and someone said, "Wow, I love that. Why don't you go back to that?" I can't do everything. It takes a lot of time to write, and I had to pull it back because there's so many spelling mistakes. Because I work too fast. I work fast. When I listen to a video, it's at 1.5 or double speed and pick up the things I need to pick up. It's just the way I can't sit there and listen to. I can't even listen to myself on slow. I put it at 1.5 because I talk kind of fast, but there's people out there who talk so slow, and I'm like, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. So we'll see. But I am going to work on it when I get some time. Article on. I don't have the magazine yet. The Economist, The World Ahead in 2026, because there are all kinds of things in here that I've noticed. And if you're wondering, oh, is there anything about silver? Absolutely. Right in here, the 2 silver coins. To me, instantly, the way my mind works, I'm like, those are pre-65 coinage because it has the president's head on it. That's pre-65 coinage. I think that is going to be the number one silver investment of a lifetime. Yeah, the silver eagles are going to be great, but if you live in the USA, we're going back to gold and silver standard. All of a sudden, that amazingly differentiates itself from all other types of silver. Is it made by the U.S. government? Because we're going to have to go back to that because nobody is going to be able to agree on what to use as money. We're not going to crypto only. Cryptos are for the people. They're not for the government. We won't. If we go back to a gold standard, there's no need for Bitcoin as a store of value. We have gold. You can use it. It's not very useful. It's slow. It's expensive, and it uses a lot of energy. Do I think Bitcoin will be gone? No. There'll be people hanging on to it. But people will have to buy it with the new money, which is gold. So how many people want to swap their gold for Bitcoin when they see gold going up in price, even though we have 10 times what they say we have? It will go up in price in relation to the unbacked fiat money. But I don't think the unbacked fiat money is going to last much longer. All these things I'm talking about, silver going to, $1,000 an ounce, $10,000 an ounce, whatever, 1-to-1 ratio with gold, that would destroy the unbacked fiat monetary system, which is what we need. And so will the exposure of just these names. This is the largest bank on the planet and the largest bank derivative holder. People need to understand we're on the absolute cliff. In 2008, Senator, what's his name? Now I forgot his name. Kanjorski, not senator, he's a Congressman Kanjorski, explained what happened during the 2008 crash. And he said 2 weeks ago on a Thursday, which was September 11th, 2008, we were seeing a run on the money market funds. We got with the Fed, and they said, we have 2 hours to make a decision before the entire system melts down, and then by tomorrow, within 24 hours, the whole world will have melted down. That's where we're coming to. It's not going to be stopped this time. It's 10 times bigger. And there's nobody who wants to stop it. Everybody wants out. If you're knee deep in debt, it's the best thing for you. If you have all these assets in the system, it's the worst thing for you. But you've been babied by your government. The regulators run cover. They don't regulate. They run cover for the system has to stay together. I think it's even in their kind of mantra that they said, here's our 2 things, like the Fed. We have to keep the unemployment at 2% and keep inflation at sub 3% or whatever it is. It's all bullshit. We have to keep the rigged system continue to be rigged is what we have to do. Otherwise, what happens? We leave the rigged system. The United States will win that game, by the way. We're the largest debtor nation on the planet by far. We have double the debt China does. And who wins when the currency collapses? The largest debtor. I'm not saying go into debt. It's a bad karma thing for you. What I'm saying is get enough physical silver in your own possession. And after that, yeah, cryptos will play a part, but It won't. Who knows how long it'll take to get everything up and running? If China invades Taiwan, tack on another 10 years for cryptos. Other than two that I highly recommend: T-Fuel, Data Fuel, which is data edge nodes allow for the ability to share computer hard drive, computer operating power, and broadband. It's a software download on every device on the planet. And if China invades Taiwan, that's when Samsung and Sony pull that key, that button, and Elon puts data edge node on every robot and car he has. And all of a sudden, it opens up a vast amount of processing power, storage capabilities, and broadband. Anyway, I've been all over the place this morning. I'm sorry about that. But again, the world ahead in 2026, I'm going to analyze that. The Economist just released that. If you go to roadrooter.com on the public road, I posted my old copy of The World in 2017. I wrote it in 2016, so this is 9 years ago. This is how long I've been in this freaking game. But you can download the PDF. It's fun. Yet a lot of it didn't happen. Some of it did happen. But remember, you got to keep remembering, I did this in 2016. And here we are 9 years later. Almost 10 years later. And if you go through it, this is what it looks like. It's like a 50-page report. It's kind of cool. I used to write, did you guys know I had a whole bunch of books? I got 4 books on God. Conversations. If you go to the shop at Road to Ruta, it's not working. Why is it working? There we go. General store. You will see my 4 books: Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God, Out of the Darkness, The Road Awakens, and The Silver Lining. The first one is free. Now, these are kind of outdated, but, it all rings true to me. Go check it out. That's what I got for you today. Again, massive, massive, massive news of the day is India imports grew 500% of silver. Imports of silver grew 500% to 57 million ounces just last month. Will we be over 100 million ounces this month? I don't know. India, and they declared yesterday that they're going all in solar manufacturing, just like China did. There's just not enough silver, my friends. Get it while you can. And this price means absolutely nothing. Nothing. Silver should be 1-to-1 with gold now, and gold price should be at $10,000 an ounce. Anyway, you want more info, go to roadrooter.com. You want to jump into private road. At the moment, we still have Veritasium tokens we're giving out with every private road subscription. Go to roadtoroot.com. That's it. I'll talk to you guys later.